The Sister Wives. Season 19 will premiere soon, and in preparation, Meri Brown is putting an end to her stay at Lizzie's historic inn. This home was once owned by her family, the polygamist side of the family, and she wanted to reclaim it for her family. It has been a plot point for the program for many years. She bought the house in 2017 or 2018. She desired to possess that historical artifact. The house is over a century old. She had been running that historical landmark in Parowan, Utah as a bed and breakfast for a while, but she just announced that she would be closing it for the foreseeable future. I can tell you what she said, but her announcement is a little hazy. "It's time to say goodbye, if only for a little while," she wrote. "Hey guys, it's Selena here. Welcome to TLC Flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I've decided to stop accepting regular guests at this time because this lovely 154-year-old property needs some maintenance and renovations. How long it will be closed is unknown to me. That all depends, I guess, on what really transpires. Enjoy these pictures of the past while I look forward with you to the future. We still have special events where you may visit the house as we move through the process, so be sure to keep an eye on the website for that information. For these areas, I have some exciting and entertaining plans. I'm looking forward to the joy and excitement that the next few moments will bring." XO Meri. Thus, it had been labor-intensive for her to manage this since 2018. Because of the home's obvious age, it has been listed as a bed and breakfast for a number of years, and she has been finding it difficult to maintain this for some time. She works a job that keeps her away from Parowan, but it still has a lot of problems. She avoids Parowan because of her lifestyle. She enjoys traveling a lot, and she has depended on her mother to manage the inn in the past. Prior to her mother's passing, she also relied on her friend Jen to assist with inn management. She had recently, last year, applied for a conditional use permit to add space to extend the kitchen, giving them more of an industrial kitchen area, allowing them to cook bigger meals and possibly host events. She had also applied to add an 80-unit building to the site where she would be able to reside as an apartment. But she had been having trouble deciding what to do with the inn in terms of staffing, timetable, and maintenance of the house. She cannot have many of her personal belongings there because it is a business. This is one of the problems of operating it as a business. Everything she has owned for years is not hers to keep. Many of those items need to be kept in storage. She had also been residing in a single room. There was one room reserved for the innkeeper and 4 other rooms that were available for rent. Additionally, the innkeeper had to reside on the property as part of the inn's requirements. And their plan was to construct something akin to a casita, where she would have a room above a garage with a kitchenette and an apartment-style layout, and below that, she would like to have a kitchen. They did succeed in getting it approved at one time. I'm not sure if that will still take place. She touched on their aspirations for what they may achieve with the land in a brief segment on the show. "I believe that in order to run in, one must be devoted to being present at all times. You must possess. Millions of people are expected to reserve rooms for a one-night stay. There must be a constant stream of individuals entering and leaving. You must have features that are comparable to those in other neighborhoods and residences." Additionally, in the year 2022 or so, the state of Utah implemented a new law that raised taxes on establishments that allowed guests to stay overnight. Additionally, the city of Parowan mandated the need for specific permits for businesses operating short-term rentals. Although an heir isn't officially an heirm, it might be. However, a business license becomes necessary for short-term rentals, such as heirms and VRBOs, on April 1, 2023. In addition, they would have to seek for permissions to work from home. If they intended to operate their company out of their house, a permit for their home occupation was also required. Thus, in order to obtain a permit for house occupation, there are many requirements that they must fulfill, as well as rules and regulations that they must abide by. They raised the taxes, which was a very significant spike. As a result, she would have had to charge more to customers and pay more in taxes. In addition, she would have needed to apply for a short-term rental and obtain a new permit for house occupation. In Parowan, a lot of people were essentially purchasing homes and renting them out on Airbnb, which was causing chaos since neighbors who had previously lived in single-family homes were now next to short-term rent. There were also several problems with, traffic, trash, noise, traffic from parked cars, and people coming and going all the time, a migrant village inside a residential area. Thus, a major discussion in this particular location concerned the number of houses that would be permitted to do this as well as the conditions attached to it. Meri's business was impacted by all of it. It does not imply that she was unable to manage the inn. Running her business has become more costly as a result, and she now has to contend with competition from short-term rental properties like VRBOs and Airbnbs, as well as pricing. She charges a fair amount for what you get while using her Airbnb, so that's one drawback. She charges a lot for a room, and the rooms are little. You can rent a house for not all that much extra in some of these situations. Thus, the house has problems. It's obviously old. It requires remodeling. 100% probably requires some improvements. It most likely needs some electrical components. If new plumbing is required, I wouldn't be shocked. Given that it is 154 years old, I'm sure there are. Put your thinking cap on and consider all the potential issues with a house that age. Although the house is charming, with time you could see that it needed some restoration. In that regard, was the business closed down for that reason? It doesn't seem as though she was breaking any similar ordinances. It doesn't seem that she was breaking any safety regulations or standards related to travel, hotel, or public transportation, or that her meal service was in any way improper, leading to her having violations. It sounds like the house itself only needs assistance, and she has a lot of competitors. She also needs to decide what to do because operating a bed and breakfast is a commitment, and many of them fail. Since they're not the most lucrative ventures, she has been depending on her friend Jen. However, Meri doesn't seem like the kind of person who wants to be managing the inn, and Jen has struggled with health concerns. She doesn't give off the impression of wanting to spend all of her time at home. She enjoys being on the go. Thus, as of right now, it is categorized as a business. I'm not sure if she can turn it into a house and possibly just move in. However, she is closing the bed and breakfast for the time being in order to renovate. And I don't think she was making much money from this because she hadn't been letting out rooms frequently. There were even months when she didn't rent out the house at all. In other words, she will need to work this out for herself. She may have even stated in season 18 that she simply cannot envision the future and that she is unsure about what lies ahead for the bed and breakfast and the heir. In reality, the bed and breakfast was more her mother's fantasy. Additionally, I believe she kind of lost focus on what she wanted to achieve with it once her mother went away. She's actually going to renovate it for the time being. In actuality, where she resides as well. It would be difficult to live in that even if she were to build the adu with the casita and apartment on top. Let's say you own a business that doubles as a rental where you have to have people stay at your house all the time. You're not used to having visitors come and go. You also only get one tiny room, and the rest is essentially considered public space that is for rent. That would also be very difficult, as this is a woman who has spent a long time living in enormous homes. Before she relocated, she lived in a 5,000 square foot house in Flagstaff. Given how little, that is, how she is only one person, it seemed absurd. That's right, the bed and breakfast will close. What this signifies for her long-term goals in Utah is unknown to me. However, it appears that's kind of where she wants to stay. Additionally, Jen, her buddy, has been residing there. And while Jen didn't have cancer, she did experience some post-ovarian surgical problems. It appears that she needed a hysterectomy of some kind. She gave her fans an update on that and revealed that they hadn't been spending as much time with friends on Friday nights due to the issues she had been facing. That undoubtedly affected her capacity to work for Meri as well. Jen additionally has little children, so you can lend a friend a hand for a time, but you can't always lend a friend a hand. Needs must come first. Although Meri has been putting a lot of emphasis on her Worthy Up movement and her MLMs, I don't think she was ever really invested in the BMB for herself. Rather, I believe she was content to own it and have someone else operate it. Though that's just my opinion, I don't think she would appreciate the day-to-day operations. She is now ending that. Kody Janelle did not want her to purchase this item. She had a major disagreement with them about purchasing this before, and there was a complete dispute about the amount of money involved. Christine was the only one who truly encouraged her to do this since she wanted to start an Airbnb or a bed and breakfast. By the way, Christine acquired a place in Mo and is currently renting it out for a short period of time. As a result, Meri is closing her property and Christine is opening hers. The way things work is strange. Whatever Meri chooses to do with the property, I'm sure it will find a new use. The house undoubtedly needs some improvements, so perhaps she can arrange for the necessary repairs to be made. Because you know what I mean, when you want people to stay at your place, it needs to be a nice location to stay. What do you think about her closing this down? If you are looking for more Sister Wives gossip, come back to TLC Flicks for all your updates. Bye guys.